You remember Crocodile Dundee, right? The rugged Aussie hero who stole our hearts. But what really happened with the woman who stood by his side? Paul Hogan finally speaks out, and the truth will surprise even the biggest fans. Paul Hogan didn't grow up in Hollywood glamour. He was born in 1939 in Lightning Ridge, a tiny, dusty mining town in the heart of Australia's outback. Life there wasn't easy. Surrounded by opal fields, harsh landscapes, and the tough realities of post-war life, Hogan learned early what it meant to work hard, persevere, and keep a sense of humor when times were rough. As a young man, he took on one of the most daring jobs imaginable, a rigger on the... Hey, if you're enjoying this trip down memory lane, don't forget to click subscribe. It's completely free, and this way you won't miss any of our next stories from the stars you grew up. Sydney Harbor Bridge. Picture this. Climbing hundreds of feet above the water, steel beams swaying beneath your feet, every move demanding courage and precision. That wasn't just a job, it was a life lesson. It taught Hogan grit, fearlessness, and a grounded perspective that would shape both his comedy and his approach to life. Even later, as he became a global superstar, fans loved him not just for his charm, but because he never forgot his roots. That everyman quality, the guy who could make you laugh while staying true to where he came from, was authentic. And authenticity, as anyone knows, is magnetic. Hogan's big break didn't come from a movie or a TV series. He stumbled into it, almost by accident. In 1971, he walked onto the stage of New Faces, an Australian talent show that could make or break careers. Most contestants sang or danced, but Hogan did something entirely different. He made people laugh like no one else. His humor was cheeky, fearless, and filled with that signature Australian charm, a mix of wit, mischief, and relatability. The audience didn't just see a performer, they saw a reflection of themselves, someone who understood everyday struggles but could make them hilarious. That night, Hogan didn't just win applause, he captured hearts, sparking a career that would redefine Australian entertainment. Soon after, he launched The Paul Hogan Show, not just as a comedian, but as a creator, writer, and producer. Through satirical sketches, Hogan poked fun at cultural quirks, politics, and ordinary life in a way that felt clever, warm, and uniquely Australian. Fans adored it, not just at home, but abroad, especially in countries like South Africa, where audiences connected instantly to his humor. By the mid-70s, Hogan wasn't just a local star, he was a sensation, poised to make a leap that would take him from Sydney to the global stage. But no one could predict that his next move would not only change his career forever, but also his personal life in ways the world would watch with fascination. Then came Crocodile Dundee in 1986, a film that would change everything. Hogan wasn't just acting, he was embodying a larger-than-life Aussie spirit that the world had never seen. Picture this, a rugged, charming bushman walking the streets of New York City, completely out of place, yet somehow stealing everyone's heart. The movie was made on a modest budget, but it exploded worldwide. Audiences couldn't get enough of Hogan's charisma, his humor, and that irresistible Aussie charm. Suddenly, Paul Hogan wasn't just a star in Australia, he was an international icon. Critics praised him, awards came his way, and the Golden Globe confirmed what the world already knew. Hogan had something special. But fame has a way of changing everything, including the people closest to you. While the world cheered, Paul Hogan's personal life was about to take a turn that nobody saw coming. At the time, Hogan was married to Noeline Edwards. his childhood sweetheart and mother of his 5 children. Their marriage had lasted decades, surviving the early struggles of his career and the sudden chaos of fame. But as Crocodile Dundee catapulted him to global stardom, cracks began to appear. By 1986, after years of ups and downs, their marriage ended in a highly publicized divorce. The media labeled it one of Australia's most notorious celebrity splits. Fans were shocked. How could the man who seemed so down to earth, so devoted, have such turmoil behind closed doors? It wasn't just a breakup, it was the beginning of a story that would entwine love, ambition, and Hollywood glamour. And into this picture walked someone who would change Hogan's life forever. His co-star, Linda Kozlowski. Enter Linda Kozlowski, the young American actress who would not only share the screen with Hogan, but also change his life forever. On the set of Crocodile Dundee, there was an undeniable spark, a chemistry so real that it didn't just play out on camera. Hogan later admitted, it wasn't acting, it was real. Imagine it. 2 people from completely different worlds thrown together in the whirlwind of filming a blockbuster that no one expected to succeed. Hogan, a rugged Aussie who had just become an international superstar, and Linda, fresh-faced, unjaded by Hollywood, full of energy and charm. The cameras captured their laughter, their playful teasing, their unspoken connection, but off-screen it was even deeper. By 1990, their on-screen romance had blossomed into a real-life love story. They married, capturing the imagination of fans worldwide. It wasn't just a Hollywood headline, it felt like a fairy tale unfolding before everyone's eyes. But as every great story goes, even fairy tales have complications. Together, Paul and Linda built a family, welcoming their son, Chance, into a world of love, laughter, and the unique pressures of fame. Hogan described fatherhood later in life as transformative. Being a dad again gave me a different perspective. We both wanted to give him the best childhood possible. Life wasn't always easy. Hollywood lights, relentless media scrutiny, and the challenges of blending careers with family life tested them constantly. Yet for decades they stayed together, their bond anchored by family, shared experiences, and a love that had begun on a movie set. Still, even the strongest connections faced the test of time, and while their life together seemed idyllic from the outside, the pressures of fame and personal differences were quietly pulling them in separate directions. A story that would unfold in the years to come. After more than 2 decades together, in 2014, Paul Hogan and Linda Kozlowski decided to part ways. But unlike the dramatic Hollywood divorces we often see, Hogan emphasizes that theirs wasn't about betrayal or scandal. We just grew apart, he said. It wasn't some huge fight. It was just life, moving us in different directions. The decision shocked fans who had followed their love story for years. Here were 2 people who had captured hearts worldwide, whose on-screen romance had felt timeless, yet real life proved complicated. Despite the separation, Hogan maintained respect and affection for Linda, highlighting the shared journey they had built together and the importance of staying on good terms for their son, Chance. Even in divorce, their story remained graceful, a rare glimpse into the human side of celebrity life, showing that love, while powerful, can evolve without bitterness. Now at 85, Hogan looks back with a mixture of nostalgia, gratitude, and humility. He openly reflects on his life with Linda acknowledging her impact on both his personal journey and his career. "She'll always be part of my story," he said. "If people remember me for Crocodile Dundee, they'll remember Linda too, because that story was ours." For Hogan, fame, money, and awards were never the true measure of his life. What mattered were the people he shared it with, the laughter, the adventures, the family moments, and the love that shaped him. His reflections reveal a softer, more vulnerable side to the man once celebrated as the quintessential tough Aussie hero. The story of Paul Hogan and Linda Kozlowski isn't just a Hollywood romance. It's a testament to real love, human complexity, and the bittersweet beauty of life lived in both the spotlight and the quiet moments behind it. Even though the cameras have long stopped rolling, Paul Hogan's legacy is far more than a list of movies or awards. He's remembered as the man who brought Crocodile Dundee to life, but he's also remembered for the authentic human moments behind the fame. Hogan emphasizes that what mattered most weren't the red carpets or box office numbers. It was the people he loved, the laughter he shared, and the family he built. His story reminds us that fame can shine brightly, but it's fleeting. What endures is the impact you have on others. And in Hogan's story, Linda Kozlowski is inseparable from that legacy. Their love, adventures, and even their eventual separation are woven into the very fabric of what made him who he is today. Fans who grew up with Crocodile Dundee now see a man who navigated success, heartache, and the trials of life with honesty and grace. Looking back from the vantage point of '85, Hogan is philosophical and at peace. You look back on your life and realize it's not about the fame or the money or even the movies, he reflects. It's about the people you shared it all with. Linda was one of those people for me. We laughed a lot. We traveled the world together. We built a family. I'll never forget that. For audiences, this is more than a story about a Hollywood star. It's a human story of love, choices, growth, and reflection. The rugged, cheeky man who once stole our hearts as Crocodile Dundee now leaves us with something even more powerful. The lesson that life's true treasures are the relationships and moments that can never be captured on film. As the credits roll on this chapter of his life, one thing is clear. Paul Hogan and Linda Kozlowski's story will remain unforgettable, not just for the movies they made, but for the life they shared, full of joy, heartbreak, and enduring love.